Hi, everybody. Let's talk 2026 prediction. I'm Kelle Sutliff. I'm a psychic medium, and I have been working in this industry for my whole life, really, and for the last 25 years at least. So let's get busy. All right. So as you know, every year you've all been bugging me. When's your predictions coming out? So I've done them. So here we are tonight, and today is December 23rd of 2025. So let's get to the details, right? There's a lot of things that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to continue doing these predictions throughout the year so you can get other things too. But here's all the food for thought that Spirit gave me. So in 2026, remember, we're a new beginning year. We're in 2026. When you add up those numbers across, right, it equals 10. Well, you can't have a 10 year because in numerology it always goes 1 through 9. So we circle it back to a 1 year because last year was a 9 year. We're in an ending year in 2025. We were in the snake year, which shedding lots of different things and situations. So we all did the work too much sometimes. So, but that's okay. When those challenges come, we take them, we learn. It's probably our biggest soul growth, really, to be honest with you. We're going into one energy. What does one energy mean? One energy is always new beginnings. It's like birthing a baby, okay? New, brand new. You're brand new. You're allowed to be into your opportunities of yourself. You're allowed to, you know what, you finally got there. Let's go and do your thing. So your intuition is in spirituality and who you are is going to be so in sync this year. And it's really important to pay attention to that. So we have a lot of action words with this year. It's like the ready, set, go card I pull all the time in my readings. So are you ready? Because we're going to go. And that's perfect. So Spirit always makes me go backwards to go forward. They always do. Even when I read for clients, right? I'll go back to years, dynamics, situations that occurred to how they explain it. So I always ask for a year, okay, what this is going to be comparable to. The year I received was the year 1999. Okay, now think on that. We were in a space where actually so much was happening then, right? Okay, we had the Y2K situation where people thought, the computer situation was going to be crazy and not continue on. We had this year with 2026, you're going to see some foul play in that kind of, in those viruses and different things that occur this year, right? Especially around weird situations with travel, those kind of situations, right? You're going to see a lot of that actually even in, coming up in January and February. In those time frames, pay attention to that in timings. But we're going to look at 1999 energy. Where were you then, right? Where were you also in 2018? So that's another significant year that you need to look at and reflect in your situation and in yourself. What was going on then? That is really important because in those timings, those situations, you've grown, you've learned different, you've done different. You know what? Now it's time. This year is the timing to get out of your own way so you can get busy and go in your opportunities. I know you're going to do it. So we have to. 2025 was, a real complicated year for a lot of people. You're deserving of a 1 year energy to be self-reflective, go into your world, who you are, what you're about, change things. Perfect. Okay, so as we go into 2026, what was one of the most we had two popular movies in 1999, if you were around to remember this. We had The Matrix and we had the movie Sixth Sense. So I really related to that second one because that was my world. But think on this. For this year, we are literally in that same type of vibration. I'm going to tell you right now off the bat, your intuition is going to be key to your world. There's going to be so much intuition coming at you, following it. The energy is just vibrational. It's supposed to be like that. So follow it. Secondly, The Matrix. So we got, this AI technology that's everywhere and starting to bloom, right? So it's very interesting because we had the internet boom in 1999. We have so many new technologies actually that are occurring and happening actually in this 2026 year that is actually going to take us all the way. They're making me go 7 years out. So whatever's happening now with technology, fast forward 7 years from now, because it's going to be fantastic. Things are just going to bloom, 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 and expand, and expand, and expand. So that's really important. So technology advancements, you're going to see things starting here that are going to lead to our future. Just like the internet started and the boom happened, right, in 1999. So nobody could believe that. Okay, and then look at our world today. That's all we know. So I want to be cautious, though, a little bit with the AI thing. Be careful of certain, if you invest or do those kind of things, certain firms, make sure that they're not, takers, right? You got to see the bigger picture on this one. Okay. So I don't want anything happening like with people losing their money with like Bitcoin and stuff like that. So back in the day when that happened, there was a lot of stealing going on with that. So remember, it's a year, okay, like The Matrix, right? Now I'm going to be funny. In that movie, okay, there was the blue pill, right? Where the stay ignorant, right? Ignorance is bliss pill. Or there was the red pill, and that was learn the truth. I think the majority of people are going to take the red pill, and because they're going to want to know the truth. The truth is going to be so exposed and so there with so many scandals, situations, growth, learning, what's truth, what's not truth. A lot of government shakedown, a lot of government situations, leadership roles, those kind of things. Truth. So I feel like we're kind of more red pillish actually for 2026, if there's such a word, red pillish. So my advice is, literally this year, you're going to put your big panties on and you're going to learn the truth. And it's okay, because truth is knowledge and power and always will be, right? Nobody likes to be lied to. So you're going to see a lot of things come down because of that energy that we're in. So, plan on, the Epstein exposure, that's going to continue all the way until the fall of next year. That's going to continue all the way down throughout. A lot of exposure in that situation, right? You're going to see a lot of situations with going all the way back into the 1970s, presidents on situations that are relatable to this. On the good news, sexual predators, human traffickers, they're going to get a lot of them are going to bust it all out. You're going to see more investigations this year. It's going to be like, oh my God, another investigation, but it's revealing information. Okay, so it's not going to be like just tiny poke the bear. It's going to be a big poke the bear kind of energy. Okay, so just like in 1999, right? Who was very popular and who was in the news then? We had Clinton, former President Clinton. Well, he's going to be back in the news a lot this year. Okay, and when you look at situations he was involved with in 1989, it's come back again. Okay, so pay attention to that type of timing in those predicaments. So countries that will have leaders step down this year, and this is what I feel. I'm going to just name the countries. There's going to be a big change ups this year. I feel Russia, Israel, Venezuela, Iran, Australia, and Ukraine. And I see a lot of these people have to watch their health, well-being, with everything around them. Okay, so that's what I see in 2026 possibilities. Countries that are financial crisis, I really truly go into Iran. I go into Canada. Okay, and then I want to touch base on England, Canada, Australia. They're like an overworked maid. All right, that's the only way I can describe it. Like, someone who is a caretaker to your home. They're only supposed to clean, but you give them like 8 jobs to do, and there's one person and they can't do it all. So what happens? You know what? They can't do the work anymore. They're worn out. They're not pleasing the household anymore because you know what? They have no more energy to do that. So this is where I see these countries have really pushed the envelope. Okay, and that's my analogy that I'm giving. You're going to see a lot of protesting, a lot of anger, different situations with that. Now we're going to go into Australia. So when I go into Australia, we want to pay attention to the last event that happened, the Bondi attack. There's more concerns in that country in going into this direction. There's things that can be preventable. I want them to really, truly, if I was listening, I'd be looking at that to make sure that those kind of events can't occur again. And that's extremely important. We're going to go now into Venezuela. This is the country that ultimately gets the shakedown this year, I feel. You're going to pay attention to the first quarter of 2026 in relations to this country and what goes down with their leadership and with the dynamics around that country and how they make their money and what's going to be taken away so that they can't, there's no nefarious situation so they can treat their people well. Okay? Now I'm switching over gears to India. So India has going to, with this AI thing and computer stuff and this tech. I keep hearing tech for this year. You're going to see them kind of be a powerhouse, okay, with all this leadership and work and different things like this. It's going to be booming. And when I go into Modi, I want to watch for him in health situations. I want to watch for him with diabetes. I want to also walk in right ventricle area around him, heart circulation. Okay, he needs to look at his health much better. And that's where I get all the way from February to March in that timing. Okay, the United States. Okay, we're going to look at, we're powerful, booming, lots of discovery right here. We're going to see a lot of oil situations, crude oil situations, new developments on how that all works. Don't ask me how it works because I don't know, but that's what I get. A lot of American company mergers, right? You're going to see auto industries merge. You're going to see high-tech companies merge. You're going to see entertainment industry, music industry merge. Okay, you're going to see a lot of that. We're going to go now to the economy because everyone wants to know, okay, well, how's the economy going to roll? You're going to see everybody's going to be in a different financial space. I love it. You're going to see medicines come down. You're going to see new laws, opportunities to make the American people wealthier. You're going to see, it's almost feel like I want to give the United States a bonus. All right. And they're going to enjoy the bonus and get a nice accolade there. Okay. That's how I feel about what's going on. The stock market's going to be really great. Even in volatile situations, when things happen around the world, you're going to see things still stay strong. And that's really, really good. There's a component here that you're going to see, I want to say like clean up on aisle 5. Okay. And this is what's going to come from a lot of drug busts, a lot of things that are going to become around every country. With the movie The Sixth Sense, it was like, okay, I see dead people, right? Okay. Raise my hand. So do I. That is what I'm talking about, that you're going to see so much information come out about aliens, kind of like I see dead people, I see aliens. All right. This is that. Okay. No problem. Okay. Don't be spooked. That's that awareness piece. Right? Because why would we think we're the only people in the world here? We're not. So this is where that you're going to see more information on this. But it's important not to be spooked. So pay attention to that, very much so, coming up this year. And you know what? Lots of a collective of people using intuition, people studying intuition, people using it, people seeing the theory of it, how we all work. We're all being ramped up in energy. And because of that, what's happening, our antennas are booming, right? So we're picking up all on how our lives should work and what's going on and how we feel things and sense things. Remember the Sixth Sense movie? It's coming back. We're here. So this is, pay attention. If I can say anything about 2026, whether you believe anything that I've gotten today, use your intuition wisely. Trust it. Take a class, do things. You know what? This modality of what we're in and what I do for a living is going to just take off like no tomorrow in this year. So in January, February this year, it's going to be some, I'm going to say heavy storms. Okay. So pay attention to that wet weather and the cold, and also countries that are really could be affected by this too. We go into this first quarter, right? Okay. I think we're going to go even cold into the springtime. It's just going to be that kind of cold, like we're in the winter solstice right now. So it's blowing us through. So we want to pay attention though, actually, to during the timing of this, right? I want to go into some earthquakes that I pick up around the world. All right. So what I was given is I got Turkey, Taiwan, Antarctica, Alaska, and New Zealand as possibly components. And what I did see in these components too is, and I also got possibly Thailand tsunami in that pocket. I also see some cracks in earth plates, which I do not like, okay, on the oceans, and divide things. They keep showing me like things being divided. That's not a good one, because that affects our earth dramatically. So when we go into energy, we're going to talk about new energy. So new energy booms. Wow. Okay. The things that don't work aren't going to work. So you're going to see a big change in that. Like, we're putting them into the wayside. So now we're going to go into new policies that dictate new energy. You know what? For new profits that are being made. Again, I go back to that oil opportunities. I also go into regulation of technologies. So you're going to see that come about, right? Like, how are we going to manage this AI thing? How are you going to manage, new high-tech stuff? Remember back in the day, in 1999, what happened? We had, BlackBerry came around. We had new phones, right? We're going to see just this huge, gigantic jump, which is so fun. We are also going to look at some air travel challenges, okay, when we're traveling. So you could see, it could be just people are so happy and they just want to travel, right? And it's overwhelming that way. But it's also the space, pay attention to January, February, August, November of 26 for some timing issues on that one. Now I go into aviation and space. Whoa. So I keep hearing the word supersonic. So what is that? So supersonic is like, you see like this massive kind of cool like travel that's going to start beginning. So faster technologies take us place faster. I'm even going to trains. I don't want to just go in the air with this one. I want to go into train travel on this one. So you're going to see maybe some new things debut, okay, which is really neat. So let's talk the economy. Everybody wants to know about the economy. So do I. Everybody does. When I say don't be afraid to invest, there's going to be some opportunities, like we're talking about this new changes, right? Look at opportunities to expand your portfolio, how to grow with opportunities. And this also, I'm going to say this, okay, this is that. But I'm also going to say you're going to see opportunities shift out with some new things where, like, I make an investment in a nonprofit and there's something that comes back to me. Now that sounds really funny because we give to give, but there's something new, okay, of challenges, of opportunities that come into that. It's not just maybe a tax write-off, it's something else. So, or it gets doubled back to the charity. There's some new type of programming that's going to come about with this too, which is going to be really, really neat because that's going to help the world, right? And people who really, truly need that opportunities. So more money comes back to you. Okay, it'll come back through cheaper groceries. It's going to come back to you through cheaper insurances. It's going to come back, and there is going to be regulation. So when they're trying to, put the screws to you on type of things, you're not going to be able to, because I think I hear talk to the hand, okay, on that one with insurances. You're going to see things come down. Thank you. Okay. I do feel like there's events occurring around the world, that might shake our confidence throughout the year. I really want to say this. If I'm going to pick any month that I hate, and I'm using the word hate because I don't like it, is I want to pay attention to the month of August. And I really, truly want, I always say, everybody play nice in the sandbox. No one throw the sand, right? Like I'm talking like a mom. So everyone in these countries need to not throw the sand, okay? And that is the United States, Germany, Spain, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Austria. Really be cognizant, okay? France, also, I get that one. No throwing the sand in anybody's eyes, all right? So there's possibly, there's going to be something that occurs in August of 2026 that I'm concerned on. And we need a collective of good is what I'm talking about, not a collective of bad in that month. And as this continues, is what I'm saying, in this month of August, I'm concerned on President Trump, the family. I'm wanting to put a kind of bubble wrap around everybody. I don't want any hiccups, none, okay? And I say this to, please plan accordingly, right? So everybody stay safe, okay? And we all have power of change. I just want to say this. We always, power of change. We have power of change of how we lead our lives, do things different, make different choices, right? It's really important in this month of August that not just who I'm talking about now, but everybody kind of take heed, all right, in that month. There's just a lot of volatility in that month, and I do not like it. Absolutely not. I think we were rolling, doing pretty good, all this kind of really doing great, you know what I mean? Then we come to August and it kind of pauses us, and I don't want any sadness is what I'm trying to say. I want to avoid the sadness of August. When I go into our world with healing, right, this is important to know too. We're going to heal up so much this year. We're going to see new advances in electromagnetic healing. Okay, we talked about those healing beds. Pay attention to that. Wouldn't it be great just to walk into a center and say, okay, heal me. All right, so like throw you in a tube and just heal you up. Okay, I don't know why that can't happen. We're going to see a lot of meridian healing. Okay, so research what that is. We need to heal the aura, the meridians, right? So we don't get sick. So lots of that. New technologies and stem cell therapies for everything. Autism comes to mind is what I'm hearing. Also, we're going to pay attention not just with that, but I'm going into arthritis issues. I'm going into new healing in blood therapies. I'm going into muscle therapies. Again, what did I say before? This year is going to take us into new vibration, new energy that's going to take us in the next 7 years, okay? So we're in the beginning of a lot of good stuff that's going to occur. You're going to be very, very happy to be here and be alive. There's a component here where I'm going to talk a little bit lighter, but I want to kind of listen to a lot of bands. That's what Spirit was saying to me. So I really feel the music industry is, I don't know anything really about music, but except I like the beat, okay? And I love to dance. But you're going to see bands like, I think that they're not solo artists and there's always a band behind them, but this is like bands. And they keep showing me like groups and new groups, and rock and roll is here to stay, and big band music, and like it's high vibrational good music. You can go to a concert and it actually sounds like the music you're listening to, right? So you're going to see a lot of trending with that. You're going to see a lot of changes in the music industry just because of that. People are wanting that, right? People want to be truly entertained, right? Okay. So that's where you're going to see a big shift in the entertainment industry. You're going to see a lot of shift in the merger, okay? Like I said, throughout the world for 26. A lot of blending of smart minds and businesses together. And that's going to create fabulous things, right? It's like big group of opportunity. So you're also going to see, this is what I'm picking up, is bright colors next year. So bright color trends in fashion, like people are going to be bold. They're going to be like, I'm in it 1 year. Okay. Look what I look like. And I feel good in this pink, outfit, or, whatever you want to wear. But you're going to be, this year of 2026 is all about standing out. You are deserving of it. You have this opportunity of new things to happen. So you're going to take it. Thank God. Like, we've worked so hard the last 5 years to get here, right? So the last thing I'm going to do with our 26, because I always pull our cards. Let's pull a few to see what 26 is going to bring us and what we're going to be about. And remember these, right? Okay, when you have throughout your years, go back to these cards. Oh, they just flew out. Okay, so this is interesting. This one is Mother Healing. Okay, so this card, when you get this card, it's all about as your inner sanctum of who your feminine energy is. You're healing it. You're allowed to be soft. You also can be the tough mom, right? And be direct, right? So that's that kind of healing. It's also can be related to people who might have issues with in family dynamics, within mom, families, that kind of stuff. You've healed it. Maybe you've just said, okay, I did my best and I've healed it. You're also going to see a big birth this year. You're going to see a big birth in babies. Okay, that's going to happen in 2026. Or a lot of people are going to get pregnant and have babies. So pay attention to that too. And that's also healing our Mother Earth. Okay, so that's the healing part too, because Mother Earth is our ultimate mother, right? And our earth, our land, our everything. So from top to bottom, we're going to heal up on Mother Earth, okay, from all the things that need to be redirected and healed up. Okay, let's see what else we get. The New Dawn card. So this is all new beginnings. The worst is behind you now. New beginnings are happening. So positive experiences on the horizon. That is perfect. Exactly what we're talking about with this one energy. It's all about beginnings, new, all about you. Okay, gallop on in. We're in the horse share. Go, go, go. You know what? That freedom, right? Of being able to think of a horse. I love horses. Can't ride one, but I love them. Save a lot of them. But think about it, like they just are free, in a field, pasture, running, like that. Just, it's stunning. That's that vibration that you're going to channel this year. You are the stunner. You are the stunner. All right. And that is perfect. Now our very last card, because I always pull 3, is this. You ready? Soulmate relationship. Remember I talked about those babies. Okay. There's going to be a lot of love this year, okay? A lot of love, a lot of people meeting partners, ready to meet partners, be that partner. Really, it's about being that partner. And so you're going to see a lot of soulmate relationships. Now, soulmate relationships aren't necessarily always just lovers, right? They're relationships in business, they're partnerships and friendship. They're like, oh my God, I feel like I know you, right? Okay, it's a beautiful thing. So we're going to take all of this, what we learned tonight, with our 2026 energy, which is going to be very reminiscent of 1999. And we're going to run with this, okay, and make our best of for ourselves. It's perfect to be in a one energy. You're going to thrive if you choose to, okay? And with that, you know what? I give you all great blessings. I wish everybody happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And, for your new year, feel free to reach out to me, which is psychicmediumkelly.com.